Hey everyone, it's me again. Yeah, I know I've been late with videos, but well, here I am, and well, let's get started. Well, this week's kind of been busy, so I'm probably gonna end up splitting what's happened this week into 2 videos, just because YouTube only lets me do it up for 15 minutes, and I feel like if I talked about everything, it would go too long. So yeah, there'll probably be another video a little later in the week. So, yeah, that'll be a thing. Okay, last Sunday, Nakazawa-san showed me around town. We went to Meiji Jingu, the Meiji Jingu shrine in Harajuku, and I have to say, it was very, I don't know, I thought it was just gonna be like a little shrine. I thought it was just gonna be a shrine, it would be cool, be like, ooh, but I don't know, when we went, it was just very majestic. It had a bit large, the gate was called a tori, which is a Shinto gate, and it was large and wooden, and like you went through it, and it just, the sound faded. Like when you walked along this gravel pathway with trees, of all these different trees to the side, to left and right, and the sound just faded as you went in. And I don't know, I just thought it was very, it was very amazing to hear or not hear all that, I guess. It was a silence that's been kind of hard to experience here in Japan, or here in Tokyo, but it's just been interesting to see all that happening. I don't know. It was kind of surreal. It was weird, because normally when you're in Tokyo, when you're around town, you hear cars, you hear people, you hear babies, you hear trains. But when you walk down this, sound just goes away. All there is just the feeling that you get from being in such a heavily spiritual place. And then after you walk through all these trees, you see barrels of sake for a religious ceremony, and wine from France, which was also quite interesting. I'm not exactly sure why they have this wine from France, but it was still kind of cool to see. And there was some that was relatively new, like I think for 2012, 2013. So relatively new wine. Like wine comes from this place in France all the time. And I thought, wow. I'm just kind of confused. I wasn't expecting, like, I get sake. Sake is rice wine that is, you know, originated in, well, I'm not sure if it originated, but it's very popular in Japan for religious ceremonies and casual drinking. But I wasn't expecting French wine. I thought it was interesting how it was like shipped over, but it was very interesting. And as you continue on, you finally get to the shrine, and I don't know. It was easily one of the most beautiful shrines I've ever seen. Like they had the main shrine in the at the end. But in front of it, they had trees. Like they had these really large trees, and then there was these 2. And when I went back later in the week, Morgan Sensei, my professor, talked about how 2 of them were married. Like it was like an interesting little like they were spiritually bound together, I think. And I don't know. It was just interesting to see. Like it had a rope that was connecting the 2 trees with like what paper talisman things on it. And I don't know. I just wasn't expecting to hear that type of thing. It was just like, the trees are married? What? But I don't know. It was just a very, I don't know, like you'd almost just feel the energy from this place. Like it wasn't like an energetic, like, you know, you gotta go do something type of energetic energy. It wasn't like you gotta go do something type of energy. It was kind of like you could feel the power of such a place, which was dedicated, which was basically created for the Meiji emperor who was the emperor during the Meiji Restoration, and a lot of people saw that as a very good point in history for it to change. And I don't know, it just shows you how much respect they had for their emperor and empress, that they built such a beautiful shrine and in such a beautiful area where they used to frequent. because apparently they have an iris garden where they used to go to a lot, and because the Empress at the time loved loved irises, and apparently they'd go to this garden all the time and go see them and take care of them and whatnot. So I thought it was like such a big respect they had for these people that they built this shrine and like this whole entryway, this whole like, it was almost like a park kind of, like how the size for their emperor and empress. And I don't know, it was just very moving to think of such a thing. But after that, on a different note, after that I went to dinner with Nakazawa-san and his wife and their son Sho at a Korean restaurant. And then they asked me if I wanted to do karaoke. So we went. And it was easily, oh god, it was so much fun. I was so embarrassed. Singing is not my strong suit. Anyone who's heard me sing, you know that I shouldn't. But I know some songs. None of the ones he wanted me to sing, because Nakazawa-san was really interested in a lot of American older music, like music from the band called the Carpenters. I don't know any of their songs, and he's like, "Do you know this one?" I'm like, "No, not particularly." But it was just interesting to see how it was different from karaoke in the United States. Like I've done karaoke before on a cruise ship, but it's set up differently than how they do it here. Like in the United States, it's set up in a way that you go and it's relatively public. Like you don't usually pay money. Like at least I haven't in any public venue I've seen. Like, but it's in like usually like a bar, and so you go and then you sing in front of strangers. At least the once or twice I've done it, that's where I've seen it. And it's really embarrassing. Like you're doing it in front of all these random people, but I don't know, there's fun in that. But with Japanese, it's much more private. Like they have, it's a very, I mean, some of them, the one we went to was a very tall building, several floors. And they have several different rooms. Like they're private rooms that you and your party or whoever go in. You can order food, you can get drinks. It's kind of cool, actually. The only thing that was annoyed me a little bit was that it smelled like smoke. The time, yeah, when I came back, I smelled like cigarette smoke afterwards, even though none of us smoked. It was kind of annoying. But it was very interesting. And also, they have a very, apparently American music is very popular here. Like, a lot of the book had a lot of songs from the United States. It was just interesting, because you could just go through pages, and it had Michael Jackson, Billy Joel, pretty much any, like, relatively popular song was in here somewhere. Like, it didn't matter, like, long as it was, like long as it was in, like, the 60s on, and it was relatively popular, you could find it. There was also Korean songs, and obviously lots of Japanese songs. And, I don't know, it was just it was a different experience from what I was expecting from karaoke. Like, I thought we were going to go and sing for our people. No, it's a private little room. I don't know, it was very different, but it was very refreshing. Like, you can kind of sing and, feel like, people are watching you, but it's less embarrassing. Because doing it in front of random strangers on a cruise ship is kind of hard. But yeah. Whew, God, I've already talked for almost 9 minutes. So, I'm going to cut this video short. Well, not really short, but I'm going to cut this video off, and I'll continue talking about later on in the week in the next video. So I'll see you then. Bye.